Hey there, everybody. Wait. I know you want to skip ahead to the video, but trust me, this is important. So, here recently, things have been kicking off on the Patreon. I mean, really, they have been just skyrocketing. So, we just want to let you all know, for that, when we hit 1,000...
That was messy. Well, so... As things were being said before, somebody didn't wait his turn, we have a Patreon. Yes, that's right, we have a Patreon. And it's been doing quite well. But you know what? It could always be doing better. Boy, that sounded conceited. But you know what? It's fine. So, there's goals on there for $1,000 a month and $2,000 a month. Also, early access to our videos. Extra bonuses on our Discord. The benefits just keep coming, so go check it out. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go practice medicine. All right, let's try this again.
Yeah, okay.
So, something just happened that it doesn't happen to us very often.
No, well, actually, I can count the times it's happened on my on one hand.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Now, there have been times that we've almost done it.
Yeah.
But so we started watching a Nostalgia Critic video entitled "How Right Are Trailers?" And we got about 3 minutes in, and I just sort of stopped and started looking it up on my phone. We recorded it already.
Yeah, we did it a long time ago.
It was me and Nate. It was back at the old set.
In the basement.
With Support Beam, everybody's favorite character.
Everybody's favorite supporting character.
I mean, they like him more than me.
No,
I just assumed the Support Beam's gender, and I'm sorry. So
I was going to say it is... never mind. I was going to go...
You were going to make a joke about wood, weren't you?
Yes.
Uh-huh. How do you feel?
I don't feel bad.
Do you feel naughty?
No, but I feel a little stiff.
I mean, no, I mean like,
Holes with knots.
Yes.
I know. Wood is stiff.
Wood, yes.
Wood is stiff. Yes. Okay, these jokes have failed, but
we're funny, damn it! No,
we're not. So what we have here is we have a more new Nostalgia Critic.
And I looked it up. We haven't done this one.
So this one is called "When Are Critics Wrong?" So let's get this put on here and bloop and bloop.
Yep. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. As most of you know, when you become a critic, you drink this magic juice that immediately makes you smarter than everyone else. Once this liquid is consumed, you suddenly become a member of the Critic League, meaning your opinion matters 90% more than that of the common riffraff. Your senses are heightened, your brain becomes bigger, and you miraculously know what's best for everyone in the world.
Brain's too big.
This is the promise of the Tree of Life.
We celebrate a day of peace.
Wow.
All right, as many of you probably figured out, that's not how things work. Odd for me to say I know, but the idea of critics is kind of a strange one. It's so often that we compare our thoughts to the critics, and probably more than once you've disagreed with them. You either liked something they hated or hated something they liked. This usually forces people to fall into one of two categories. Someone that says, screw the critics, they don't speak for the people and are a bunch of stuck-up eggheads. Or the people that say, screw the masses, they wouldn't know art if the Mona Lisa kicked them in the balls. But what you might be surprised at is films that are considered classics today were not always seen as such by critics when they first came out.
Very true.
Did you know that Psycho, The Shining, and Fight Club all got negative reviews when they first premiered?
Yep.
These are movies people watch all the time. They're practically considered masterworks. Yet very few critics liked them when they came to theaters. With that said, did you also know that Signs, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and Phantom Menace all got positive reviews when they first came out? Good lord, how can you trust anyone with these kinds of mindsets? Part of what people forget, though, is that
He
critics
named the
are
one.
just people.
He did it.
And like anyone, they can be emotionally swayed. Hell, that's what movies are supposed to do, emotionally sway you.
Hey.
This
But
is
how
true.
can audiences and critics differ so
Yes,
much?
I'm going to pet you and
Well,
forget
there's a few things
that
to
one
keep in
movie
mind.
that he mentioned that never
One
happened.
is, as a viewer, you can choose which movies you want to see. So if something looks bad, you can easily skip over it. Critics usually can't. They have to sit through a
That's
shit ton of movies, including
true.
the bad ones, and usually have to see
Yeah.
10 times the amount that normal people see. Seeing so many so often can easily have an effect on how you view them. You notice more cliches, you pick up on where the story is going to go, mostly because you've just seen it done over and over and over.
Let her go!
Yes.
Let her go!
Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go.
Movies can get away with a lot of repeating, though, because they want to impress the mass majority, not the critics. So films can use the same tropes several times because it'll take a mass audience longer to catch on to it and get bored by it because, well, they don't see movies as much as critics do.
I should have killed you when I had the chance. Should have killed you when I had the chance.
Should have killed you when I had the chance.
With that said, because critics see movies so much, they might be able to pick up on certain techniques that are impressive to them, but not the usual moviegoer. Birdman was a hit with critics for different reasons than it might be with audiences. The film is set up to look like one continuous shot, which many audiences wouldn't catch on to. A critic might be marveling at all the effort that had to go into making it look like it was one shot with no edits, where an everyday viewer might just notice that things look and flow a little different than usual, even if they don't know why. In both cases, it worked to the film's advantage, as it was so strange and dreamlike that audiences and critics both loved it. In some respects, that's true for The Phantom Menace as well. It's a bad film, especially when compared to its predecessors. But critics liked it when it first came out because they thought the technology and visuals were breathtaking. And at the time, they kinda were. Now we can see the computers are overused, but back then we never saw a film that just surrounded itself in so much of that technology, at least not
Yeah,
to this
true.
extent.
That's
And
fair.
given all the same things that critics had to see over and over, yeah, this would be a little refreshing. But many people were upset that they couldn't connect with the story or characters. At least, they eventually said that. Many people were so sucked in by the hype that for a long time they convinced themselves that they like it, even though later they come around to admitting that they really don't.
Yeah.
Critics can be the same way. Audiences forget that because critics are people, they as well can be emotional, and they can get sucked into the hype train as well. So the idea that critics are always going to be right doesn't make the most logical sense. But wait a minute, isn't that one of the reasons we have critics? To see past all the emotion and focus on the stuff that's going to be timeless? Yes and no. Movies are all about giving you an emotional experience, and that's going to be different for everybody, especially over time. Films like Forrest Gump, American Beauty, and Saving Private Ryan were seen as heartfelt powerhouses. But nowadays, they might be seen as corny, cliched, and even kind of inappropriate. Each film, though, touched on something that was relevant
get that
at
with
the
Forrest
time.
Gump.
It made a connection with the mass public in a way people's emotions wanted to experience them then. This includes critics' mindset at that time period as well. But there are films that everyone can agree just aren't for critics. Movies like Ace Ventura, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas were all panned by critics.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty obvious they weren't made to be liked by them. Ace Ventura worked on an immature level that spoke to the inner silliness of most kids. Ninja Turtles was great for fans of the cartoon, but it's just too damn ridiculous to grab someone looking to be challenged. And Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, by design, is meant to not be liked and keep you in a raunchy and uncomfortable place.
Yeah, it's
These films hit their
real
specific
weird.
audiences perfectly, where any other rational human being with little context would see them as insane ravings. If anything, we'd be more concerned if critics did like these movies. But that makes it even stranger / kind of enjoyable when they like something you wouldn't think they would like. Did you know that Beavis and Butthead Do America actually got good reviews? In fact, it came out the same weekend as a drama called Ghosts of Mississippi, with gigantic actors involved. But critics said it was melodramatic and trying too hard to be an Oscar grab. Meaning that the movie usually loved by critics was being beaten out by the one usually despised by critics. It was so weird to see this dramatic true story about race being beaten out by Beavis and Butthead Do America.
I was taken with their adolescent awkwardness, bravado, and vulnerability. Therefore, a modest recommendation of Beavis and Butthead Do America for me.
I recommend it too. I enjoyed it a lot.
But that's not the
Oh,
only
that's
one.
weird.
Films like
Oh.
Something About Mary, The Mask, and even the most obvious commercial with the Lego Movie all got good reviews. These are films many would guess critics wouldn't like for being too lowbrow, but something extended beyond the normal boring rubble and connected with their inner immaturity. They were just too charming and, in their own way, too smart to turn down. But even I, as a critic, have to acknowledge that there's a lot of enjoyable films with bad reviews that I just don't understand. Why was Hook hated by critics? I can understand it having problems and not fully enjoying it, but this movie was slammed. Comedies like UHF seem harmless enough, but the critics railroaded it like nobody's business. Weird Al even asked if he ran over all the critics' dogs. He couldn't believe the harshness. They can even seem inconsistent. Like, critics really enjoyed the first Rush Hour film, but hated the sequels because they said Chris Tucker was too loud and talked too much.
That's what he does.
Okay,
Did you see the first film?
The third
And
one
don't get
was
me wrong, I
not
can
good.
totally
Oh, yeah, the
understand
third
not
one had a
liking
horrible
these
The
story.
second
movies.
one
The other
was
Second was
excellent.
hilarious.
The first one
Second was
wasn't?
hilarious. I
So
thought it was good as the
clearly
first one.
was? This is just confusing. And then there's ones you'd swear they're picking on just because they feel they're supposed to as critics. I know tons of people that watch the Hotel Transylvania movies every Halloween. But because it's an Adam Sandler comedy with immature humor, it's almost like they feel obligated that they have to give it a negative review, even if it's totally fine. A slapstick comedy starring a little kid? Well, gotta hate that on arrival. Oh, it's a Christmas classic now? Well, you were all brainwashed. Rightfully so, nobody controls your opinions but
I've
yourself.
heard really good
But
things
if
about
that's
Hotel
the case,
Transylvania. I've
why
never
do
It
we
seen
is. It's
even
really
have
good. I liked
critics?
it.
Do they even have a purpose?
Second one I
Couldn't we
thought was
just
good, too.
get rid of them all? Not so fast, destructive hand of God. I have a point.
Wait.
Critics in many respects are not only supposed to cover an event.
Toby,
they are journalists and films can be events. But they're supposed
Jumping
to
to
offer a point of view that
conclusions.
you never considered before. Would
goes
you get angry
nowhere,
at someone for
Toby.
writing a philosophy on life, even if it's different from yours? It's not just something you're supposed to blindly agree with, but it's something that's supposed to give you a peace of mind. Movies are essentially art, a reflection of life in unique and entertaining ways. A critic is supposed to help you
Hey, Larry Moulton.
explore it
That's
in a
a
way that maybe you
terrifying
haven't
look.
before.
I don't.
Someone can watch Animal Farm and like it fine, just seeing it as a story about a bunch of animals that rise up against their human owners. But when you're told the whole story is symbolic of Russian communism and the rise of Stalin, you can suddenly
Takes a different
experience
route.
it from a completely
Yeah.
different level and enjoy it in a whole new way. Critics are also not just one big entity. It's like saying the internet is one person. Hell, if it was, it'd be one emotionally drunk asshole. It's a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and while many of them do follow certain patterns for the reasons I listed earlier, everybody is different. It's all subjective, so nobody can really be wrong. If you like Ace Ventura, go ahead and like it. If you hate Saving Private Ryan, go ahead and hate it. The important thing is how well you share and communicate. That's what makes you a stronger human being. And that's what a good critic should
This is what
do.
we've been
Teach
saying
you
the
how
whole
to
time.
communicate better. Not agree, but convey. There's been plenty of times I disagree with critics, audiences, or both. I sure don't understand why everybody likes the live-action Jungle Book, but I also really enjoyed the movie Ender's Game, despite that being hated by everybody. My
Yeah,
thoughts
I
are gonna be
liked it
different
alright.
from your thoughts, and chances are it's gonna happen a lot. But that's good.
I
Share
find it
your
hard
thoughts.
to
Compare
describe
them.
why
Don't
the
let anyone say there's a
live-action
right
Jungle
way or
Book was
wrong way
really
to
good, but
enjoy
it-
something, because there is no right way or wrong way. This
I
is
don't
one of
know.
the
I don't
reasons
know how to
film has
describe that.
lasted for
That's
so
tricky.
long, because it speaks to
Well,
everybody
I
differently.
think the
It's
for
not
me it's the
science,
conveyance
it's not
and
mathematics.
the
It always
adaptation.
has been what you allow
It
it
was
to be.
very well done.
So figure out
Yeah.
what speaks to you, why it speaks to you, and best of all, how you can share it with others who might have a similar or completely different experience. I'm a nostalgia critic, I remember, so you don't have to. Hey everybody, next week is a review of the comic book classic Blade.
Ah,
You can see
yes.
it now under Vessel's ad-free early access. Just $3 a month to see
It's
tons of
funny.
people's videos early, as well as a
Funny
bunch of
that
other
it's
extra
on
features.
Vessel when
Check
it's
it
a
out,
vampire
get the early
movie.
scoop.
Because
Blood vessels.
Yes. Yes. I understand humor.
I do as well. So, anyway, for me, the one thing about what Doug said here, I 100% agree with, is that, conveyance. Your ability to convey how you feel, about a movie and why you think it's great. Like, for me, Forrest Gump, to me, I see it as a representation of pure Americana. Not that Forrest Gump is the everyman from, not that Forrest Gump is the everyman from that generation, but he he's a representative of events that, he's a fly on the wall to the events that happened. And he interacts to some degree, but overall he's just going with the flow because there's not much he can really do about it, because after all, he's just a simple man. And for me, it's just like, him being born with a crooked spine, him having problems relating to people because of the braces on his legs, him eventually, there's some stuff there's some stuff in it that I see as a little ridiculous, but truth is, honestly, to me, it's still a very well put together film, and it tells a good story, I feel.
See, you talking about being a fly on the wall. See, I completely disagree with that. I think it has a lot more to do with the fact that this is one man doing simple things, and the way those things snowball and change and become greater than the man himself.
Well, you see,
for example, you look at...
Go ahead.
He starts running. He just starts
for no
running.
reason.
For no reason. He just starts going. And people begin to follow him.
Well,
and they continue following him. And it turns into this grand thing.
Bigger than
anything he ever intended. And then he finally stops, and everybody's like, yeah, that was great. And he goes, where am I?
Well,
I have to go back
I have to go back home. So, all right, for me, I get what you're saying with that. But like I said, I'm talking about, like, the time frame that he's in. The time frame that he's in, with the from when he's born all the way up until in the 80s when near the end of the film.
Yeah.
All the events that are taking place, what I mean by him being a fly on the wall is that everybody had different experiences in those times. Like for instance, the protests over the Vietnam War, the whole reflection pool scene, which to me I think is one of the most classic, iconic moments in film I can really think of, is like, all those people surrounding the pool, which they actually explained how they did that scene. They actually did masking and layering. They had people come back different days. Like I think it was like 50,000 people in each row, and then they put it all together in one thing, which they did that a lot. And also, Forrest also, he takes action throughout him becoming a football star, him becoming a Medal of Honor winner, and all that. I think it's those experiences are experiences that people had in that time, and Forrest is the representation of those different people, and I think, and that's what I see with that. And people say, oh, it's hokey and all this nowadays. I think it's really timeless of that era and that time frame, because Forrest is a simple man. I mean,
a major part of the reason I think that people think it's hokey is because it's become so, I guess, ingrained in our minds. For example, I mean, I use this example a lot. If people today went and watched Citizen Kane, they'd be like, I don't understand what the big deal is.
Rosebud.
Because every movie does these things. Yeah, Citizen Kane was the first one. So you're seeing what came from Citizen Kane. In the same vein, I mean, I'm not saying that they're, the same on the same level necessarily, but things that Forrest Gump did, you see those sort of carried down.
Yeah, you do, but
so I think that's a big part of why people see it as kind of, hokey and what have you. It's because, it's one of those, I guess there are some like really iconic movies for whatever reason, and Forrest Gump is in that list.
Well, for one thing, for me, the cinematography of the film
yeah.
really shows off like the beauty of of America and all the things that America holds. Because on Forrest's run across the country, you see all these amazing sights, and also his explanation to Jenny near the end of the film of everything that he's done. All his experiences that he went through, and how I wish. And she says, I wish I was there with you, and he says, you were, and because he always had her in his heart.
Yeah.
And you see, it's beautiful. The cinematography, absolutely stunning. Tom Hanks's performance. It's been parodied so much now that people call it hokey.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It was such a big part of the time and has been thought of so highly since that naturally there are going to be parodies of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are two types of things that are widely parodied. Things that people really like and things that people really hate.
Well, people really liked Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
People really liked it. I mean, it was like it was the highest grossing film in I think 1994 is like the best year of film I can recall in like the last
I gotta look up
25 years, because The Lion King, The Lion King, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, so many great films, Shawshank Redemption, so many great films came out at that time, and
Clerks,
yes. Also,
Stargate was in 94 too.
Yeah, Grosse Point Blank.
Let's see, The Little Rascals. Wow.
Yeah.
There's Angels in the Outfield. Oh
wow.
man. The third Naked Gun movie.
Naked Gun 33 and the third.
The Final Insult. Yep.
The Ref was a good
Yep.
Dennis Leary movie.
Oh man, a remake of Baby's Day Out. Oh, Baby's Day Out was pretty good.
Yeah, but you see, for me, True Lies as well.
True Lies. Interview with a Vampire. Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of really great films came out in 1990.
Leon the Professional was in 94?
Yes,
Holy
exactly.
shit.
That one as well. You see, 1994 to me is like one of the best years of film I can really recall, especially looking back.
The Crow.
The Crow, yes, exactly. Another one. So many great films came out in 1994. I can't...
The Mask and Ace Ventura?
Yes.
Wow, that was a Jim Carrey heyday right there.
People said that his peak was Liar Liar, which I have to agree with. Liar Liar is probably the one Jim Carrey film I've watched the most. But that was really the year that Jim Carrey was just like, boom, like broke through.
Oh man, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Friggin' Richie Rich was in 94. Holy crap.
Good films all around.
There's a lot here.
Yeah. And you see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
1994 to me is like, and I was 6 years old when that happened. And I remember watching The Lion King in theaters. What?
The Street Fighter movie came out in 94.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.